This is a home in Pasadena, the Royal Jack Atkins home, which was almost $500,000 in 1929, and unfortunately, a number of years ago, burned in a fire.
How much do some of his homes go for today?
The J. Paley home, which is currently being sold by the Baron Hilton estate, is on the market now for $75 million. Every year on the calendar, I need to put Black History Month is in a month, get ready. Because the day that he celebrated, sometimes other than February, is a day I'll be really happy. Downtown, there's the courthouse, there's the federal building, in the African American community, there's First AME Church, there's Second Baptist Church, there's Angela's Funeral Home, Broadway Federal Bank, Golden State Mutual, which is now used for something else, Saks Fifth Avenue. I mean, the list goes on and on. The airport. The thing that comes to mind is like the Beverly Hills Hotel, which he was not the original architect on. It was done in 1912. He came in and redesigned it to what it is today. And that's sort of a signature. In fact, the handwriting of the Beverly Hills Hotel is actually his handwriting. He was not able to stay there. He wasn't even able to eat out by the pool or something. The waitresses and the hostesses would not seat him. You know, I, for one, don't know what kind of stamina that took. I get upset just looking at the news when somebody's saying, you know, you're Black and you shouldn't be here. But he had somehow an ability to take that and make it part of his strength. In his own words, he talked about people coming to his office because maybe they'd seen a home he designed their friend had or something, and they got there and sort of stopped in their tracks because they didn't realize he was Black, and they were ready to back out. And he had a few things that he used just to win them over. We're talking the 1920s. How much are you going to plan on spending on your house? And if they said $8,000, he said, "I'm sorry, I don't take any commissions under $10,000." And of course, they looked at this Black guy like, "You have lost your mind." The fact that he would be willing to turn work down if it wasn't up to his standards, I think intrigued people. He would say, "What's your vision?" And as you sat there across the desk from him, and he would ask you things like, you know, do you have children? Do you need a den? Do you want a formal dining room? Whatever that was, he would, as you answered, he would sketch it upside down and it would come alive before your eyes. He used whatever tricks he needed, but he never chose to use tricks that demeaned him. He never used tricks that were inappropriate. He did whatever he did to make that person a partner. When he died in 1980, Danny Thomas did his eulogy, and he thanked him for having designed St. Jude Hospital free of charge. They were buddies, and my grandfather had done a remodel on his home, and they would sit in the afternoon and talk about their joint vision for children. My grandfather as an orphan, and Mr. Thomas having just thinking all children needed to have health care. And my grandfather went home one night and had a dream that the hospital would be in the shape of a star. And he came back the next day and gave him the drawings and said, "This is my gift to you." When I heard that at the funeral, I knew he did design St. Jude. I certainly didn't know he'd done it for free. So I thought, if I didn't know that, what did the rest of the world know? I think the thing that was most hurtful for me and grandchildren is that he lost his eyesight. And I cannot even imagine with someone who, with his vision, who could look at a city that was, you know, bean fields and orange trees and envision what it is. To lose your eyesight must have been very hard. He had memory loss as well. But we would go for these Sunday drives before his eyesight was really too bad. And he'd look at a building and say, "That's a fine piece of work." He didn't know he was an architect. He didn't know he designed it, but he thought that was a fine piece of work. So he kept that positive attitude all the time. He never complained about anything. But he really has dotted this city everywhere you go, even though many things have been torn down. To be the first member in 1923, which was 98 years ago, and for the American Institute of Architects, AIA, to still have less than 2% African American members would make him very unhappy. So if some young person could see this and say, "I can be an architect too," instead of having a teacher say, "Well, there's a lot of math involved, you probably can't do it." The fact that he did what he did 100 years ago, I would hope would inspire people to think, if he could do it then, I can do it now.
Hey everyone, Cody Broadway here. Thank you so much for taking the time to check out the NBCLX YouTube channel. Be sure to click here for more videos and also click here to subscribe to join the NBCLX community.